Everybody, it's Clothier here. Welcome to today's call. I got my guest here, Antonio. We're going to talk to you a little bit about, again, another success story out there with, our tools, our services, our teachings, whatever whatever you want to, whatever the flavor of the week is. The bottom line is we're here to talk about stuff that's working in the market. I've asked Antonio to jump on here. He has recently posted on one of our Facebook pages about some success he was having with our system. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to get to know Antonio a little bit, let you guys get to know him a little bit, tell you a little bit about his business, what's going on, what's actually working, kind of keeping you at the front of the edge. Not just hearing it from us about our internal business, about, real guys and girls that are out there that are using it in their own business and what you should be doing. So again, that's what we're here to kind of jump into today. I'm excited to have all you here, and I'm especially excited to have Antonio here. Antonio, how you doing, brother?
Great. Thanks, Kent. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on and share some stories with you.
Of course, brother. Man, I'm glad you're doing this. So first off, let's kind of get introductions out of the way. Tell us a little about your business, the market, what you focus on, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, my name's Antonio Gonzalez. I work with Sustainable Management here in San Diego. We acquire distressed assets throughout the country, primarily residential, for the fix and flip model. I've been in the real estate business for 12 years now, and I believe there's opportunities in every market. We had the Great Recession, and during that time, we tried to figure out a way that we could capitalize on that market. So we had some great relationships with some banks directly that we could get some exclusive pricing and pretty much rolled with it. So we acquired, fixed and flipped several hundred homes throughout the country, and we started to see that decline of inventory from the banks, and the banks were also starting to get a little bit smarter and know that they could sell these homes for a little bit more and capitalize on investors that were coming into the market, and put these deals, on the MLS or with agents and kind of minimize our return. So we tried to figure out a way to capitalize on where the market's going and how can we get more deals into our pipeline, and working directly with sellers seemed like a good opportunity. And I mean, there's all different types of systems out there. I'm in real estate, I'm a broker, so we can pull data lists and all that stuff.
Right.
But I think you had a pretty good niche where you kind of cross-reference that with, vacant type of homes that can be
right,
kind of narrowed down and filtered. So discussed it with a couple of my partners. We decided to give it a try and do it.
Holy crap, it worked, right?
Yeah.
So, dude, so you've been doing this for 12 years, man. That's you've kind of seen a lot. So what, you got involved back in, 2002, 2003?
2002, 2003, yep.
Dude, that's exactly when I got involved. We've been in about the same time here. I got, what was it, January of 2003 was the first time I did a deal.
I started out with a loan and real estate brokerage, where I started out on the loan processing side. So I started out loan processing in September of 2002. Wow. And then got into the mortgages and real estate into 2003.
So you've kind of seen a lot of the same cycles that I've experienced, right? Kind of the massive ups, and then God knowing the unbelievable down that we all experienced for the Great Recession, right?
Yeah, you got to ride that euphoria for a bit, and then
that euphoria where you think that nothing you touch is not going to turn to gold, and that you must be the greatest investor in the world because everything just works, right?
Oh man, we're so naive sometimes.
Oh dude, I can remember buying them. I was in South Florida at the time, and I can remember buying them, and I'm not even kidding, literally putting a sign in the yard within 24 hours, and within 72 hours having multiple offers for, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 more than I had just paid for it. And I thought I was the greatest real estate investor in the world. It was just that madness. And I'm thankful I went through it. I'm sure you are as well. So, because it's a pretty humbling experience when you go through it to figure out exactly what you're made of.
Definitely. Kind of, makes you think about things in perspective and kind of take it with a grain of salt and, take advantage of opportunities.
So let me ask you something. So I'm going to come to the some of the specifics about how you're using Find Motivated Sellers here in a second. But before I get to that, it's not always, or it's not often, I should say, that people get the opportunity to hear from investors that have been doing it for 10, 12 years. We all get locked in our own little world, and sometimes we feel like we're a little bit on an island. I know you understand that feeling. I know I understand that feeling. And so speaking to the guys and girls that are out there that are maybe have only been in it 12 months, 24 months, or maybe even less, that are just kind of getting going, what's the biggest lesson you've learned, having gone through all those seasons of this business and all those cycles of this business? What's the big lesson you would share?
I gotta say it's persistence.
Money's calling, man.
It's persistence, man, and just staying consistent. So you got to have your systems and plans in place and stay true to them, because like with many things, it's a numbers game. And once you know that, it kind of gives you that much more energy and passion to know that last rejection is going to get you one step closer to your next deal. So I think man, that's the biggest key.
You just said a mouthful there, brother. I think a lot of people get locked in and they'll try something and they'll kind of tiptoe in it, and maybe they probably get locked into believing that this business, they believe some of the hype, if you will, right? So, oh my God, you can push a money, it's going to start raining. Push a button, it's going to start raining money. You're going to have cupcakes and rainbows and sunshine and butterflies, and everything's just going to be okay. And it's almost like this lottery winner mentality. And the reality of it is, as you and I both know, seasoned guys in this, that's just not the way it really works, right? And so we're pretty transparent when it comes to that. We tell people that all the time, but regardless, the industry is filled with people that make it seem a lot easier than it really is. And so I think you said a really, really important thing right there, that it is about persistence, consistency, and that it's a numbers game. Man, you just got to keep going. You have to keep mailing. You have to keep, sending contracts. You got to keep getting rejected in order to get to what you want to get to. So let me ask you this. I would ask you a follow-up question, because I know the way I would answer this, but what keeps you going?
I like the intricacies of a deal. I like negotiating the deal and getting a deal done. So to me, it's more of it can be kind of a chess game. So I like to win. And if there's a way to kind of put a win-win situation together to help all parties, it's a success. And, there's some added, peaks to that, or perks to that, is getting to see the faces on some of these new homeowners when we've renovated a new project, and now it's going to be the new home that they're going to create memories and raise their children and have these amazing lives in, that I had a part in it. I can't tell you the number of neighborhoods we've gone into that they were these abandoned, dilapidated houses, and we had neighbors come over just thanking us in tears, what you're able to do for the neighborhood and what this is going to do to help improve the values and the community and the safety. I mean, it goes a long way. So it's those little things in addition to the business aspect and me really liking the kind of negotiating and deal part of the whole transaction.
Dude, that's cool. No, that's really good. I mean, if you kind of cut to the chase, I think when I talk to guys and girls like yourself and find commonalities with other entrepreneurs right there, out there, people that are successful at all levels, I can tell you the one trait that I see over and over and over again is it's always bigger than you. In other words, like you said, it isn't about the deal. It's about the art of putting the deal together. It's about the outcome of the deal. It's about seeing those faces. It's about changing a neighborhood. It's about playing a role, having an impact, creating real, basically as is going to happen with all of us, is that at the point when we get to the end, to say, hey man, it mattered that I was here, right? I mean, that's cool stuff, man. That's cool stuff. I appreciate you sharing that with everybody here. So let's talk about A couple other things here. So you get what markets are you said nationwide. Are there any markets specifically that you guys focus on?
Right now, we are primarily in California, Arizona, Nevada, Washington, and Florida. Those are primary markets. We've been into Maryland and the Carolinas and Virginia, but we kind of hold off in the winter.
Sure.
Because we get
Because the
kind of
weather.
crazy,
Yep.
impact our holding costs. So we'll hold off on those for a few months, maybe at the start of the year, look into some of those other markets that have potential. But we definitely think, kind of stay away from the Northeast for a little bit in the winter time to just like it's cycles.
Totally. No, I get it. So, if somebody's got a property in some of the states that you're farming, I mean, is there a bread and butter that you're looking for that you want to share with anybody, or is it kind of come one, come all?
It really comes down to value add potential. We focus on the single family residences. We don't really get into the condos and multi units as much, but with the single family residences, it's value add potential. Whether the home's dated, has room for expansion, small house on a large lot, where we can add value with square footage, or just add value by updating the home. If it's the only home that hasn't been updated in the area, and we can add that value, that's where it's at.
Cool. How many properties you guys going to do this year, you think? What are you on pace to do?
This year, I think we're probably around 120 or so.
Nice, dude. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk specifically for just a minute here as we start to kind of wind it down. Let's talk about the value that you see inside of the Find Motivated Sellers software. I mean, that's what I saw you post on the page about specifically, and you mailed some campaigns, had some success, closed some deals. Let's talk about it here for a second. What, kind of walk me through the scenario or scenarios on how you guys are using it and how you've had success with it.
Well, we've kind of followed the direction and what it was kind of laid out for, which was vacant homes where you're targeting owners that are in other mailing addresses.
Right.
So I wanted to focus more on San Diego County, which is where I'm located. So we kind of focused on that area and just did it. Didn't think too much about it. Followed some of the steps in terms of making sure you kind of do some filtering as far as areas you want to stay out of, or different filters that you want to tweak out. For us, it was detached SFRs, staying away from land and other types of property, and just did it. So we did it mailed it out July 24th with 2,200, and I think I had 14 records, 2214 we mailed out, and
what kind of response? What kind of outcome? What kind of results?
We had 34 responses.
Okay.
Which was good. I mean, we were happy with that.
Yep.
Some of them, I mean, were properties that we didn't necessarily filter as much or tweak out as much, and the things that didn't quite work for us that may have been in more remote areas that didn't have the activity that we required as a threshold for our resale.
Yep.
So we have to tweak that a little bit, but I mean, 34 responses, and I have 2 active leads that I'm still in touch with. One's a $1.2 million condo in Coronado that they're looking to sell sometime next year.
Nice.
The one's a condo down in Mission Beach area, recently renovated. Guy lives in Arizona. He had a wife pass away, and it was a place of his memories, and he has a hard time coming back to it. So he's thinking he might just sell it and create some memories in another destination with his family. So it comes down to relationships and being able to talk to people and find their true motivation.
Right.
It's not about how much you can offer for my house and this is what, and you're going back and forth on a dollar. You're finding a solution to someone's needs.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of subscribe to the same theory that I do, that all the money is made in the follow-up, right?
It is. It is.
I think if everybody would just learn that one little rule right there, we're such an instant gratification, world at this point, that very few people treat this as a business. right? And the second you make that switch and treat it as a business and realize that, hey, you've paid to create that lead and paid to create that opportunity, and if you'll continue to nurture it, as you said, and build a relationship, those turn into tens of thousands of dollars in, if not a significantly more. Like when you're talking about a $1.2 million condo, there could be a lot of money involved in those types of transactions, right?
Yep. And that's just from an agent commission perspective, not some of these other deals that we do with the fix and flip, where you have the proceeds from the sale and the value add.
Totally. So,
which takes me to the success kind of I posted. It was about a month and a half after the mailing, and got a call, actually an email, from this seller that living in Las Vegas. He had inherited the property from his mom that had inherited it from her mom, out here in Spring Valley, California. It's just east of downtown San Diego.
Yep.
And there was a storm out here over the summer, kind of a freak storm. I don't know if you remember it. It was out kind of out of nowhere. It came, and there was lightning that struck some trees.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Absolutely. Because it never does that here, right? The simple rain, storms. What is that?
Yeah, that big storm in 2014.
Exactly. The one day it rained. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, but so yeah, he ended up having to come out because he had a huge eucalyptus tree in his yard that had fallen over and damaged the neighbor's yard, and said, I'm going to be in San Diego. I got your letter. My mom happened to pass away a month ago, and I've inherited this property. I'm, the successor trustee, me and my brother. I'm going to be there anyway to take care of this tree. Maybe you can meet me at the property. So met him at the property, chatted with him. Doesn't have a cell phone, just has a landline. Doesn't like communicating really at all with people.
Right.
Hasn't had a cell phone for probably about like 6 years. But we started chatting, talked to me about all the memories of the house, where he was, used to swing from this tree that had fallen down back with his brother growing up, and
wow,
how they lived to leave Las Vegas and come to San Diego and spend the summers there with the grandparents. So you get to hear about these memories and these stories and how hard it might be for someone to get rid of these properties, or to sell them, I should say. So we kind of talked about what his motivation was and what his plans were and what he thought he could do with the proceeds, once we could sell the home for him. And, we had a connection, and he said, let me know what you're thinking. So, we kind of parted ways there, and I put together a comparative market analysis, brought it back to him the next day, very detail-oriented, probably about 70 pages of reports and analysis, and said, do I have to read the whole thing? I'm like, well, there's a summary on the front page. And he's like, that's all I need to see. So he went through it later, but checked it out, and the number was within kind of his range, but he had to talk to his brother about it, which is back in Las Vegas, and he made it adamantly clear that his brother was not going to leave Las Vegas to travel anywhere, so everything would have to be done through him, and I was fine with that. He went home, discussed with his brother. We worked out some of the intricacies of the deal, and got it into escrow, put it under contract. He had some issues with how to transfer the property. Should he keep it in the trust or outside the trust? So we had some escrow contacts that he could sit down with and discuss those options.
Yeah.
And then obviously had him discuss it with his tax advisor and CPA as well. And then 10 days after that, closed it, and he was ecstatic. I mean, till the very last day, I swear, every hour he was calling, is this really going to happen? Is the money really in us? Yes, it's there. Are you sure this is going to happen? Can I drive back to Las? He goes, he was waiting here in San Diego, and the wire had been a little late wire cut off, so it was going to go the next day. He's like, can I leave here? Can I drive back to Las Vegas, and will the money be coming to me? He's like, yes, the money will come to you. He's like, we can have it wired to you. He's like, no, I don't trust wires. Can it be mailed to me? Yes. Escrow check.
Wow.
You're in good hands. So, the deal closed. It was a great value for him. For market value as is, was a tiny little, just under 900 square feet, built in like the 1930s.
Yep.
But it was on like almost a quarter of an acre.
Nice.
So there's room for the value add. So, we bought it as is based on the value of the house and the land as it was, but based on the, value add of adding another 700 square feet or so, what we're able to turn that around to is huge.
Totally.
So, we're buying it for like 200,000, probably put in one of the places, if we add on the square footage that we're looking at, we add, 700 square feet, it's going to cost us about 150.
Yep.
So we're in for 350 and selling for probably close to 500,000.
So you're staring a potential $100,000 payday if you decide to go that way, right in the face. Once you get rid of commissions and all your fees and everything else, right?
Yes, I'm a broker too, though, so those commissions kind of stay.
So you're staring a little bit more than $100,000 right in the face. Dude, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, and was that from the same mailing?
Yeah, that was from that initial mailing.
Wow. So basically, let me just make sure I got this. You spent more or less, call it a little over $2,000, right, to mail. 2,214 mailers. Let's just say the worst case scenario, they all cost you $1 a piece. Depending on the envelope, they could cost you up to $1.50, whatever, right? I mean, so let's call it $2,500 that you spend, and you've got 2 open opportunities and 1 that you've actually closed on that you feel like, in a scenario, that if you choose it, can make you up to somewhere in the neighborhood of almost up to $150,000. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
Right.
It is. But I mean, at the same time, it didn't come without work. And
totally, dude. I mean, but that's the whole point, right? I mean, that's the reason I do this, is that it'd be real easy for us to just sell software and walk away and say, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The reality of it is you and I both know what the real secret is. Mailing's one thing. Following up, nurturing those relationships, getting a deal closed, and then following through and getting it sold and making the money. I mean, this is a business. It's that simple, but it is a highly rewarding business. And all this tool is designed to do is, instead of you doing a bunch of heavy lifting and trying to hunt and peck and go find a deal, let the deal come to you. So there's plenty of other places that you can get plenty of brain damage in this business. You and I both know it, right? The one place you don't need to do it is in finding the deals, and ironically, that's what everybody's struggling with right now. I'm not going to tell you it works 100% of the time, because it certainly doesn't, but it works often enough that it's a heck of a wise investment if you're serious about this business. Would you not agree?
I would most definitely agree. And I mean, at the same time, people have to be willing to work, because it's not easy. Someone's not going to call you and be like, I want to sell your house for, less than market value to you so you can make a lot of money.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Yeah,
that's back to the cupcakes and rainbows and lottery winner mentality, right? That's just not real. That's just not the way the real world works.
I'll share a little crazy part of that deal that happened. That, I mean, it could have just been a deal that didn't close. My partners here still can't believe I did it, but when I had sent the offer to him via email, there was some verbiage in there. I had to use a simplified contract because he didn't like the car forms here in California, because they're so lengthy and have all this verbiage. Right. He just wanted to be like, I'm selling this to you as is. I'm not doing anything, and you're going to pay me this amount of money. That's pretty much what he wanted. So I had a simplified version. It was only 4 pages, which is tiny compared to what we have here in California.
Right, totally.
So I sent him a very simplified version of the contract, and he didn't call me over that weekend. Left him some phone calls, sent him some emails, didn't respond. Could have been like, oh, well, that deal's gone, on the next one. But I knew he was going to be there that Tuesday, because he was getting his tree, this huge eucalyptus. He was going to have these workers there that were going to mulch it up and clean up the place and everything. So here I am in the office on like a Tuesday afternoon, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to go visit that property. He's like, what are you talking about? He hasn't responded. Are you just going to go there? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go there. He's going to be there. Like, you're crazy. I'm like, well, he doesn't have a phone. How else is he going to call me? And, who knows? Maybe something happened. So we'll go to the place. Sure enough, there's workers outside. They got their ear muffs things on, like mulcher going. They got chainsaws going, And I talked to one of the guys. I'm like, is so-and-so at the house? And he's like, yeah, I think he's inside. I go knock on the front door. He's not there. I go to the side door. I knock a little bit. No answer. I mean, you hear this huge noise. I mean, you wouldn't be able to hear any knock otherwise. So finally, I'm just like, open the door. I walk in, and here he is sleeping on the couch. It's
in the middle of all the loud noise.
I'm like, hey man, did you hear me knocking? David, what's going on? He's like, hey, oh, give me a minute. Sorry, I just took a nap. It's been long. We go outside. We sit down on the porch, and he's like, sorry I didn't get back to you. There was some verbiage in the contract that I wasn't really comfortable with that said that certain reports had to be provided and disclosures. So I just I didn't feel comfortable signing it. I'm like, well, you should just reply to me or call me and say, hey, I don't know about this, instead of not responding. I'm like, we can work through that right now. I brought the contract out. We put lines through things he didn't like and didn't want, and boom, done. But
dude, that's
without
awesome.
Taking that extra step, I mean, you never know.
That's the difference between making 150 grand and not. It's that simple, right? And again, I don't want to imply that that's, in any way, shape, just fully disclosing here, right? That you haven't made 150 grand yet. And
right. You don't know what exit strategy
you don't know
is.
exactly. So let's just, but the bottom line is the opportunity now exists. You own the property because you took those steps, right? So that's just, dude, congratulations, man. Awesome stuff. Well, man, we're going to wrap it down here. We've been right at the 25-minute mark here. So any parting words you would have for anybody out there that's, maybe, like I said, a lot of our students out there, we kind of go the whole gamut, right? We got guys like yourself that are really, really experienced. And then we got other people out there that are just like you and I were 12 years ago. They're getting in, they're tiptoeing a little bit, and they're trying to figure out where their place is in this industry. So what would be the anything you'd like to leave everybody here with?
Well, I mean, the Find More Sellers is a great opportunity to be in touch with sellers. Everyone's looking for the deal. I can't tell you how many wholesale deals I get a day. A few hundred a day they get sent to me. But you're at the discretion and mercy of, making sure the wholesaler can make the money, do the numbers work for you. If you can get in touch with the seller of the home, there's a lot of value in being able to deal directly with that seller to create the deal, to create a win-win situation for all parties involved.
Awesome, brother. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you, they're in one of the markets, how do they reach out to you? Is there a website you can send them to?
Yeah, the best website is Sustainable MG, which is sustainable management. Sustainable SUSTAINABLE M as in Mary, G as in George.com. My phone number is 619-889-8579. Because I'm a broker, I'm fortunate where we also have in-house private lending. So on deals that get brought to us where we don't take on the project ourselves, we're able to lend on them.
Nice.
So that creates a synergy with different options that we have to work with where, hey, the numbers don't make sense on us doing the acquisition rehab, but we'd be happy to lend on it because we're going to only lend 65-70% of the deal and have that equity built into it. So if we did have to take it back,
Sure.
we have the expertise and resources to do that.
Totally.
So it's just leverage and having options.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out here with me today. And let's, you're right here in my backyard. Let's hang out and get a cup of coffee soon. All right.
Yeah, we definitely have to meet up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And if you want to get in touch with Antonio, again, just go to his website, give him a call, whatever. If you feel like you got an opportunity to sell him a property or want to work with him, make sure you check him out. And good luck. And we'll talk soon. Take care.
Take care. Bye.